Hey everyone, Corey from Aquarium Co-op. First, let's start by looking at this. Yes, my eye is all messed up. I had surgery this week. You guys have probably seen it in the shows. I've had a sty on my top eyelid. We had that surgically drained or whatever they did. They put steroids in there, all kinds of stuff. Basically, they beat me up in my eye for a little while and sent me home. And it's fine now. It doesn't hurt or anything like that, but it sure is ugly looking. So bear with me. Hopefully we can get through today. Maybe I'll do one of these things where I only look at you like this, and then every once in a while I'll give you this eye. But while people are rolling in, let's get some things out of the way here. First and foremost, Pond products, 20% off on the website. So that's things like omnivore pellets, Hikari foods, barley extract, all those types of things, 20% off. You don't have to put any promo codes or anything. You just show up on the website, aquariumcoop.com, save 20%. And then there is a code for Easy Green products. And the code is Easy Green. That's all you got to put in. You get 20% off Easy Green, Easy Iron, Easy Carbon, and I think maybe Easy Root Tabs? I'm not even sure. Yes, that is the best comment yet. I concur. Sassy did this to me. God, I should have thought of that. That would have been way funnier. Sassy's been beating me up, getting ornery in her old age. Yes, so what else? We finally, being that I've been not laid up, so to speak, but taking it easy because of my eye, I'm not supposed to do anything, too intensive. I was able to get some things done finally, like international shipping on t-shirts, mugs, and stickers. There's a Teespring link that pops up in the chat here. I'll try to put it in right now as well. That allows you, if you're international, for at least a limited time, to get some of these things. I ordered myself a mug because I've never had the coffee mugs before, and that's even new to the USA. So, yeah, there's a link right there. People are already starting to text me and things. Let me turn that off. I apologize. I wish I got in a fight, because then at least I could say, I got in a fight. I'm such a wuss. Yeah. So didn't get in a fight, but Sassy does beat me up. I like that story way better. And then lastly, kind of a big announcement. If you guys have been hanging out on some of the other YouTube channels and stuff like that, you've already heard this coming. But for a lot of you that, only tune into this, Jimmy, my editor, is coming to Washington. So that means he's going to be coming over, and he's going to be on a salary. We're getting him an apartment, things like that. And so possibly the return of the Daily Dose, or at least a lot more good footage. Whether we go to 5 or 6 days a week of video or not sure yet, but Jimmy's got the eye for editing and the eye for filming. And so I think that's going to be a good thing. It's kind of a big move, because I got to provide for another employee. He's like employee number 9 or something like that. We were always paying for him before, but moving over here, cost of living is much higher, and it'll be weird to kind of have someone with me all the time while I'm filming. Hopefully it goes for the best. And because of that, all super chats that are donated by you guys will go directly towards funding that, so that we can make better video, because it doesn't really make sense any other way. So hoping, I'm just giving a thing to put the super chats towards. Everyone's got their thing. Mine's towards, making sure Jimmy doesn't have to eat top ramen, and he can live here and help make videos. So, let's see. I think that's it. So let's talk about Goldfish and koi, and who's got questions. I was out playing with my koi a little bit earlier today. I've kind of, I'm not going to promise it yet, but I was talking with the owner of koi.com, and we've penciled in a koi pond build with me and him building it, and that'll be kind of the end of June, early July, I think. And it's the goal of that pond is so that anyone can build that pond. It's not going to be like a crazy $20,000 to $30,000 pond in my backyard that only people that spend way too much money would have. It's going to be something that you guys at home could build. We're trying to keep the entire build under $2,000 so that it's attainable, because a pond liner itself is kind of expensive. You got filtration, you got a few other things, and the reality is doing it for much less than $2,000 without getting some of that stuff for free would be very difficult, and actually doing koi justice. Now, doing a goldfish pond you can do for a lot less, but koi, because they get so large, kind of a thing. So You crossed the 60,000 mark. That's true. We got 60,000 subscribers last night sometime, I believe. That's when the congratulations started coming in, and so super happy for that. For one last time, my eye, I had surgery on it to remove the sty that some of you had noticed, and all the swelling and stuff like that from the surgery. This is the aftermath. The first day and a half or so, the eye wouldn't even open. Now it's functional. I just have to put antibiotic stuff in it 3 times a day, and I'm not supposed to do anything too crazy intensive with it. So no laser tag or anything like that. But, you know, taking it easy. Cole Schramm says, does the owner of koi.com think depth is important for growing massive size koi? So I've talked to them quite a bit about that, Cole, and he thinks it's 4 to 6 feet, somewhere in there, he feels is the maximum growth rate. And what they're actually doing now, there's a lot of farms in Japan, he says, that are redoing their farms to be about 4 feet deep and about 8 feet wide, but then like 50 feet long. So they say they're growing the best koi muscle and bodies by making them swim very long distances to grow that, you know, that tail muscle and stuff like that. And that's where they're getting the best growth in for some of these championship koi and stuff like that. So, but he also says it's very trendy. Like if let's say the guy that wins the All Japan show 2 out of 3 years, if he changes his pond style, other people start changing their pond style. So whether it's good or bad, that's remaining to be seen on a lot of that stuff. Usually people like to copy who's winning, which makes sense. You know, if you see them clearly winning, then, you know, you think there's something to it. So, all right. How fast do fancy goldfish grow? Given food, water changes, is omega-1 goldfish a decent staple diet? This is from Raul. I would say most things are a decent staple diet. I think the trick becomes how much you feed. So feeding too much can put a wallop on fancy goldfish. So the correct amount, which is a lot of times less can be more. And then I like to alternate it with like duckweed or green beans or something that's like really green. So that way it keeps their stomach contents moving. And you know, it's always weird for me to think like, oh yeah, remember when I did that show with Lamont where we were doing this on Sundays before we could live stream? We talked for an hour about goldfish foods, and then I go look at that video and then be like, oh, 6,000 people have watched it. So basically, out of 60,000 people, less than 1 out of 10 of you have seen that video. So there's a whole video on goldfish foods where we talk about brine shrimp, and we talk about duckweed, and we talk about pellet foods, and things like that. So it kind of spends a whole hour and really goes through a bunch of options and explains what I believe and what Lamont was believing as well. So yeah. What kind of ick removal is good for me to use in my goldfish or koi pond or tank? If you're not using live plants, they can endure a lot of salt. And so at least a tablespoon per gallon, that can be pretty effective. I also use ICX. They make it in the pond version. In fact, we just got that up on the website, so we have ICX pond version. We always carried it in the store, but this is like the first summer season we've been selling online. And so we got that up just a couple of days ago, so you can get that. Also, if you have really large aquariums, the pond ICX is slightly better dollar to gallon ratio, but it's also easier to measure. I think it's 5 milliliters, 1 teaspoon does 20 gallons instead of only 10. All right, we got a super chat from Jane Tanked. Super chat towards a creative ways to make a Rapashi Foods video. All right. Yeah, we can do some more fun Rapashi videos. So is that the thing now? You guys, here, I'm going to change it already. Super chats, you super chat the money, and then we make Jimmy do ridiculous things. I like that way better. I know I'll get roped into it too, because I'm a sucker. I never want to let the one person, take the brunt of it. Okay, let me eat that too, or whatever, so. Let's see. So a little bit of update on Lamont. Last I heard, they're talking about possibly coming back to Washington. We might be working on some more T-shirts and things like that. So that ball is still up in the air. Working on it. how big are common goldfish supposed to grow? The biggest ones I've ever seen, and this is going to sound like a fishing story, but I saw some longfin comets where the bodies were like 14 inches, and that seems okay. But the tallness on them was like 8 inches. Like, they were massive, and they had long fins. And I tried to buy them from a store, and they wouldn't even sell them because they were the biggest they'd ever seen. They were so monstrous. But I think on average about a foot to 14 inches, and then something that's about that tall or so. Rarely are you going to get that real deep body, I believe. Can you use freshwater or Icex Marine for freshwater? I don't know. I suspect. Well, I know there's different active ingredients, but I've never tried using it on freshwater, so I don't know how effective it is. Ted says, I have 7 4-inch comets in my 300-gallon. What is a good pellet size for that fish? So a 4-inch comet's about this. If it was me personally, I would be using a very small floating pellet, like the Omnivore small pellets. So I think of it like this, and I watch a lot of people do the opposite. So when I go to eat a taco, I want to take bites out of this taco and not jam the whole thing in my mouth. Well, that's not true. I want to jam the whole thing in my mouth, but it's easier if I take a bite at a time. And I find the same way for fish. The food, it'd have to be really, really small to be way too small. So if someone crunched that taco up into a billion billion pieces, it's more difficult to eat. But if we're taking bites out of that, works well. Whereas like a giant pellet, so if you had a 4-inch fish and you feed them a bigger pellet, they really have to jam that in their mouth, and it's hard for them to break it down. So I'd rather be too small than too big. And especially on a lot of the big predator fish like Oscars and stuff like that, where their teeth are in their throat, they have to kind of move it back and forth to chew it. And so with all of my kind of carp, whether it's koi, goldfish, that type of thing, I like to use a pellet that is clearly easy for them to eat. And it's not like having to swallow a basketball. Do goldfish breed once a year when temps warm up, or can one play with the temps in the tank to make them breed multiple times? Raul, usually you can get a few different spawnings over the course of a summer or a period of time. And so I would say yes, you can play with that. Let's see. How do you keep raccoons away from a pond? So first, cover your pond. Second, and I haven't done this because my raccoons haven't gone to my pond, but take marshmallows, soak them in apple juice, and put them around your pond. Raccoons hate to have stuff on their hands, so what they do is they go and eat this, right? Now it's all sticky. Then they put their hands in the dirt, and they got dirt. And if you guys don't know about raccoons, they really don't like their hands being dirty. They'll clean them in ponds and stuff like that, and it's really hard for them to get off. And if after a couple times of that happening, they don't want to come back to your place because they remember, like, every time I go over there, I got crap on my hands, I can't get off. So yeah. Cool, my fancy goldfish are pretty big. I've changed them to a koi pellet, Hikari Gold. Is that a good thing? I give them a sprinkle of them a few times a day. Yeah, I would say, so long as it's not too big of a pellet. But yeah, Hikari Gold's been a staple for many, many years. And, some people say, like, oh, Hikari's not the best. And then you have other people that are like, oh, I just won a championship with using Hikari. So it all depends on the grade and what else you're feeding and things like that. There's bags of Hikari food, for instance, that are $300-400. There's also ones that are $3. But Hikari Gold's kind of middle of the road there. And if you supplement with vegetables and things like that, they'll really do well for you, I believe. What's the largest comet will grow? I think about 14 inches in a 550-gallon pond. Does my eyes still hurt from surgery? Doesn't hurt at all, actually. Let's see here. Corey, can't wait to head over and see Aquarium Co-op. My daughter thinks I'm coming over for her graduation. Our little secret. Oh, man. So when she graduates, you have to hand her like an Aquarium Co-op sticker. My orange comet goldfish got ick. Luckily, it lived, but is scarring black? Is that normal? So every Sunday, typically black on a goldfish like that, I've only witnessed it from excessive ammonia. Goldfish will get these black dots and stuff whenever the ammonia gets really elevated, which could also be what caused the ick initially. But I don't know when it comes to ick and then leaving black dots. I haven't seen that. So, let's see. Are we supposed to have video? Mine says waiting for aquarium co-op. Uh-oh. Jeff, go ahead and refresh your page. Should work. Yeah, I don't know. Should be working just fine. Let me look at my screen. Let me make sure that everything on my end... Yeah, everything on my end is good. So, if you guys want to do me a favor, go ahead and share this to your own Facebook. YouTube really values that. Whether or not you have friends or not. Like me, I don't have any friends, but all they care about is it got shared, and they go, wow, look at this. 47 people shared it. Must be cool. It's like a giraffe is giving birth again. But yes, I do have a baby turtle right now. Do you guys want to see a baby turtle that hatched out about an hour ago? I just haven't put it in water yet. Let's see. I had a school of goldfish fry. Can I feed them first bites or freeze-dry brine shrimp? First bites would be a good one. Crushed up flake. You could do like egg yolk through cheesecloth. Anything really, really small. Yeah. Ooh, Martin says, the raccoon trick is absolutely true. In French, we call them, raton laveur. That's my best French accent, by the way. And anyone that speaks French probably knows that was like way off. But if I was in a room with someone else, raton laveur sounds good enough to me, which loosely translates to washing raccoon. All right. Corey, do you recommend deworming goldfish koi when you bring them in? When you bring them after spending the summer outdoor in ponds? From Samantha R. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't do it, but I also don't bring them in typically. When I import them, I definitely deworm them and stuff like that. But unless I had like ducks land in my pond, or I saw birds going to the bathroom in there, I would wait for it to present symptoms personally. Let's see. Ooh, that brings up a good point. Collins Fish said, subscribe to my channel. There's your shout out, Collins Fish. But that reminded me of someone I do want you to go subscribe to. So just recently, Sergeant Tank hit 500 subscribers. He's been trucking along for a long time to get there. And what I really want to have happen is I want all of you guys to go to his channel, and one of the mods grab that for me, and put the link there, and subscribe. I want to get him to 1,000 so he can get super chats. He's doing really cool stuff. He's helping Jimmy pack up and sell some of his stuff so he can move over here. He's live streaming on the road, and he's going to visit other YouTubers. Like Nick Richards is in from the UK. There's a lot of cool stuff going on that Sergeant Tank is a part of, and I really want to get him to 1,000 subscribers just so that he can partake in the super chats and things like that, because I feel like it would really help his viewers and content and stuff like that. So it's just important to me. If you want to do a quick little thing, hop over to his chat and or hop over to his channel and hit that subscribe button. Even if you never watch it, which you will, because it's a good time. I hang out there in the live streams and everything. But at least get him to 1,000, and then after he's like, at 20 billion, go ahead and unsubscribe. But that way you knew you helped him get to there. And yeah, so let's take a look at this little turtle. He's on the move. All right, let me get my camera ready so I can see and make sure you guys are gonna be able to see it. So if we go over here, oh, it's not focused, but that thing that looks like it's covered with sand. Let me adjust the focus here. Now it's gonna be horrible. I realize this, but let's see if I can. Oh, let's try autofocus. It's horrible because I'm trying to hold it without. There we go. Of course, he won't move now, but you can see all the shells over there that have been hatching out lately. And, that little guy in between the two, he's going to be happy when I put him in some water. I'm letting his yolk sac, get absorbed, stuff like that, so. All right, well, let's get autofocus going back on here, and let's get back to the show, shall we? Go right back up top. And autofocus is done. All right. So, let's see. Where are we at? I've always wanted a fancy goldfish. Never got around to getting one. I'm way too picky. I had that problem for a long time, Michael. My advice is get some and then weed out the ones you don't like. So start doing it. And then, you know, it's kind of like eating food. Once you eat some food, then you know what other food is good or bad, right? And so you can start picking favorites. By the way, it's ridiculously hot in the studio right now. I've got a fan exhausting and stuff like that, but it's like 80 plus degrees. And the whole time Jimmy's here, I'm going to make him just stand in the background and do jumping jacks. Everyone's subscribing to Sergeant Tank. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I know he probably has no idea that's even going on. He's never asked me for anything or anything like that. And, you know, he's helped out a lot of people, and that's what I like. And then up here, let me move the camera. That's his logo right there, which he contracted Lamont to do. So, you know, even got Lamont some money to do that and has a rad logo. I'm super jealous of it. And that's seriously the way to get noticed by me is do good things, and then I see you do good things, and then I'll promote you. Because anyone that's doing good things, I really like and I want to be around. All right, let's get back to some goldfish here. That baby turtle's a master of camouflage, for sure. What happened to my eye? Sassy, my little dog, punched me right in the eye. Nope, I had the sty that was in my eyelid removed, and in that process, like the two nurses and the surgeon, they like flip your eyelid over and punch you in the face and inject steroids and make sure it never happens again. All those crazy things. So then it just looks crazy like a zombie. I could do this. I could do like a one-face thing, you know? It's like, oh god, he's turning his face again. What are the differences between fantails and Ryukins beyond deeper bodies, longer finnage on the Ryukin? The only differences for me, Seth, besides what you mentioned there, which is, you know, deeper body and longer fins, which, by the way, a veil-tailed Ryukin also has long fins. I find Ryukins to be a little more ornery than fantails. Fantails have a better personality. Well, not personality, temperament. So, yeah. Let's see. Sassy knows Kung Fu. You're dang right she does. She protects my house. How do you overwinter koi? Here, what I do is I don't have to do anything because I don't get that crazy cold. It depends on where your frost line is in the winter, but you could add like an aquarium heater. You could cover it with a solar cover. What that is basically like, think of fancy bubble wrap, and it floats on the top of your pond. It lets the sunlight in, and then heats up the water, and then prevents it from freezing, hopefully. But if you get a bunch of snow on there, then the sun can't get in, you know. So you got to get a little bit of craftiness to it. But in general, koi can handle some ice over the top. It just depends on where you're at and what your battle plan's going to be. I also, in years past, have pumped hot air from my fish room out into my pond. That I feel like that helps that much, like a little bit more than not doing that. So yeah. Tater says, I'm sorry if it's already been asked, but it is related to koi. I live in Kentucky. Summers are humid around 85 to 90 degrees. How deep does my pond need to be? For koi in general, my recommendation is 4 feet. Now, that sounds like a lot, but like the pond you guys are going to watch me build, my plan is to go 2 feet into the ground and be above ground 2 feet so I can sit on the edge of the pond and enjoy it. Yeah, much less than 4 feet, you really have a lot of problems with predators. And you're right, if it was very shallow, it might heat up and cool off way too fast. What hardcore koi nerds will do is they'll build a little greenhouse over their pond and, you know, for the winter. That can help. And then you can put shade cloths over it in the summer. So yeah. How is Sergeant Tank doing? Like on subs? I gotta see this. I want to make sure it's happening right here. Oh, I'm typing in the wrong thing. Let me grab another question. Everyone is late to the party. You'll get an announcement about my eye. you'll get to remember this. Like, so instead of remembering today we hit 60,000, you get to say, I was there when Corey had zombie eye. Remember zombie eye? That's a way cooler thing. Sergeant Tang. All right. What are my opinions on spirulina enhanced brine shrimp? I think it's a good thing, Jarrarium. You know, it doesn't have that much spirulina in it, which is good because I've read some studies where most fish can only uptake about 20% maximum, more like 11 to 14% spirulina. And so I think it's good, especially in aquarium or in fish that can't get much roughage, if you will. 542. All right, we're moving up. How many people we got watching this live chat? I want to know how big of a favor I'm asking. We got 452 people. If all of you go do it, we'll be almost there. And by the time we're done with this, we will get there. Hey Corey, I will have a ton of goldfish when I move out there that you can have. You can have some A&F. A&F, maybe help me give some away. Some are show and import, and some I bred myself. Sweet. So if you don't know who Taylor Hernandez is, that's Esteemed Food Aquatics' new lady friend, and she's coming out this way, and who knows? What would I be able to keep with fancy goldfish? I've got Arandas, Ryukins, and Ranchus in a pond 4 feet. Wait, would I be able to keep them in a pond 4 feet or deeper? I've heard that high water pressure at this depth may hurt them, but I don't know if that's just a rumor. It's hard to say, Eric. I've never done it in 4 feet or deeper. I've done it in like 30 inches, and I've never had a problem. I think it's one of those things that in a perfect world, 1 foot depth is probably best, and then that's assuming that you never had water issues ever. But a 4 foot depth, but water was pristine always, would be amazing. So I prefer that. Koi Boy says, I went to Genki, which I've been there. I went there when I was in San Francisco and saw the Tamasabas. Thoughts on the species? I thought they looked pretty cool, but they weren't my favorite. So, like, why did I think they were cool? Because I never get to see them. But if you were to ask me, like, okay, you only get to keep one type of goldfish, I would probably choose Arandas, which it used to be Ranchus, but I really like Arandas now. Arandas, I don't know, a good Aranda with not too big of a wen and the body shape. I want some of those really big Arandas. I just built a 7,000 gallon pond and all koi. I'm already jealous, Vincent, because 7,000 gallons, that's no joke. Because I think I was looking at 8 by 8 by 4 feet deep, or like 12 by 12 by 4 feet deep, and those are only like 3,000 to 5,000 gallons. So you're in the big boy league. What kind of regulations do you have on ponds in your neighborhood? I know some homeowners associations probably don't allow it. So me and homeowner associations like just would not get along. Like, they've got their own views on tacos, I've got my views on tacos. We probably don't match up. But I do know that at least in my state, and I would wager for most of you, it's a good idea, even if it's not a law, to fence your yard. You got to treat it like it's a pool. So unless it's like above ground enough that a kid couldn't get in there, but that's half the reason I fenced my front yard, and my backyard is fenced, and I had to put up a gate so that I can legally be playing with some ponds. And so I've got other things too. Like, one of the reasons my pond's going to be at least 2 feet above the ground is so that Sassy the Ninja Assassin doesn't stumble in there after, drop kicking me in the eye, and then can't swim out, so I don't want that to happen. And so if I make it up higher, that would be much less likely, because a 2 foot thing is really hard for her to get up. She has to do all her ninja moves, and by then she's so winded she won't be able to get back out. How do you breed goldfish? Typically the males are kind of going to beat out the eggs from the females, the real rough breeding, unless you're going to do it artificially. Yeah, so, and they're going to spray all their eggs all over usually spawning mops or the roots of water hyacinth or water lettuce, and then the water's going to get all clouded up from milt. And then you hatch them out and you raise them on very small foods away from the parents so they don't get eaten. And you do a lot of culling and a lot of labor-intensive work, and then you have some goldfish. Let's see. Where are my taco hats? My taco hats are over here. Like, don't worry. Taco hats are always in ample supply. It's just really hot in here. And I'm trying to not overheat. I have a 4-foot gate and fence around my pond. That's good to hear, Jimmy. Mine in the front yard is 4 feet. In the backyard is 6 feet. My Aranda is 8 inches and growing, fat in body. Going to put her outside in a huge pond and move her in the winter. That sounds awesome, Joel. Like, that's like the best of both worlds. Because when you put them outside for the summer, they're going to color up a ton. And then you pull them back inside and you get to really see them on the side and that kind of stuff. So I love that. What causes dropsy? What are preventative measures to avoid that? And treatments for dropsy? Well, dropsy, the way we see it, could be constipation, could be liver or kidney failure. So liver and kidney failure, not a lot you're going to be able to do about that. But for constipation, especially with koi and goldfish, a lot of roughage. So maybe wheat germ, things like spirulina, things like duckweed, green beans, watermelon, all those kinds of things that are very easy for them to digest. That's going to keep them regular and hopefully keep them from getting dropsy. Oh, and wait. Oh, yeah, okay. Didn't ask what dropsy was, just treatments for it. I have a white butterfly goldfish with very distinct smoky gray patches. I have never seen a fancy goldfish like her. Is a gray and white goldfish rare? I don't know. Part of the problem is I haven't been looking for that. And so I don't remember seeing it off the top of my head. But I wasn't looking for it. So it could be. It doesn't sound common by any means. Do I plan to swim in the pond one day with the GoPro and a snorkel? I don't know if I'm going to swim in it. We did talk about making a natural pond with koi, though, so that we could swim in it. Corey, every time Corey live streams, I crave tacos. Wonder if there's a correlation. Yes, actually, Taco Bell stock is up 1.3% thanks to me. So, correlation confirmed. I have a black moor goldfish that gets sick, lethargic, white film on the body, floaty issues when she eats anything other than Repashy, Soylent Green. Why would this be? So just like every other animal, it could be that I don't know why I think it's a she. It has, because you said she, that's why. When she eats anything, could have an allergy, so maybe allergic to wheat germ, or gluten, or intolerant to something, and maybe Repashy doesn't have that. Also, usually you want it pre-soak the food with any floaty goldfish issues. You want to pre-soak so they don't overeat and then it expands in the abdomen. But I would try mixing some other things in that Repashy and see if you have the same problems. Like add in some pellets, and then if she doesn't get floaty, then just feed the pellets. And if she does get floaty, I bet you the food is taking on water after she eats it. $5 super chat from WTF1A1A. Can you explain to my grandma why keeping 2 common goldfish in a 40 breeder long tank is hard to keep clean and healthy? She is watching right now. Well, it depends on the size, so I'm assuming they're of decent size. Mostly, the difficulty is it's like trying to keep 2 80-pound dogs in an apartment. It's not that it can't be done, it's that it's loud and they're rambunctious, and a studio apartment might be really small. Kind of same thing in that 40 breeder, or the 40 long tank, is that if these goldfish get 10 inches, there's just a lot of food and a lot of waste going on in there, and you can do a lot of water changes, but if we're not just like really on it, we might have poor water quality and things like that. And so usually it's not that it can't be done, it's that it becomes so much work that we usually move them to a pond or a bigger tank or something to make our lives easier. How do you prepare for koi eggs? I think the best thing you could do, Leela, is have kind of rearing totes up and available. Already have your brine shrimp eggs. Get some live Daphnia culturing. And be ready for the food. That's the hardest part for people, I think, is the feeding of them. Hi, Corey. Love the Gosanke video. Did you purchase the Holy Grail Beauty? No, I didn't. There is a koi show coming up, and then I'm trying to convince him to do a sale the day afterwards. I'm trying not to buy any koi until I build the new pond. That being said, I did win a koi at auction. My wife doesn't know yet. I haven't brought it home yet either. I'm making him hold it for me. And then I did bring 3 other koi home, but you guys haven't seen that video yet. We're doing a grow-it competition between me and the owner of koi.com, which he's going to murder me. But I got Sassy on my side, so I'm going to train her how to grow koi. You know, I figure she's so good at kung fu, she is one with the koi as well. Let's see. Get a job at Rapashi and steal it from them. Ooh, kill one, keep one, breed one, goldfish koi style. Go. Kill one, I would take out... What variety would I get rid of? I believe I would get rid of the Jinkin variety, and it's because I believe, if I'm right, that's the one where they'll pluck scales to get them all white or all red. I'm kind of against that. Keep one forever. I don't know. I've got a couple of goldfish that are my grandmother's. That my grandma's kind of gotten elderly. We had to shut her pond down, and I still have them. And I'm thinking they're gonna become like heirloom goldfish to me. They're just comets, just normal comets, that I might keep forever. I just think it might be kind of a cool thing to be like, those are my grandma's. I've had them for 30 years at this point. I've had them now for less than a year. And then breed one. What fish would I really want to breed? So normally I would say the Siamese doll goldfish, but I'm not convinced that's actually a thing and not just stunted goldfish. So I'm going to choose something else. If I was going to breed one, I would really like to breed some like black and white only Shibunkin goldfish. Because one, I like Shirotsuris and koi, and it'd be a much more dwarf version that more people could keep. D&H with the super chat. Help fund the editor's moving costs. That's right. It's going to be, I think I calculated about $6,000 to move Jimmy into a new apartment, move him cross country and all those types of things. So about $6,000 just to have him on site here. The goal is, though, hopefully, we'll have dual computers going and he'll be able to put up extra video. And, you know, so when I say, like, remember that video me and Lamont did about goldfish? That little video will start playing in the right-hand corner, and we can cut to different cameras, and we can do some real cool stuff. I also want to try doing, like, a call-in show where we could pre-screen the calls and go, oh, yeah, you're not crazy. All right, we'll put you on the air, and you can ask the question directly to Corey. We want to play with a lot of cool stuff, but all that cool stuff costs time and money and effort and things and stuff and black eyes and koi food. So, let's see. Heavy feeding goldfish is laborious. It is, because you got to do a lot of cleaning. A lot of cleaning. Hey, Corey, what plants would you say you can do decently well with goldfish? I like Anubiases, Java ferns, Crinum calamastratum, African fern bulbitis, which I think I could check right now. By the way, I got to go to the airport tonight or tomorrow morning. One of the two. Let me check my import order. I'll tell you if I have bulbitis coming in. I know a lot of people are on the wait list for that. Survey says... No, they didn't ship any. So what I do have hitting the website tomorrow morning will be Java fern, both type on driftwood, cryptolucens, Java fern Wendelov, red flame swords, golden Anubias, Anubias nana petite, and octopus plant. Jacqueline says, LOL screen calls, guess I'm out. Or you just gotta pretend to not be crazy to get past Jimmy, and then go crazy. That's the trick. So the 800-gallon video, the move-in video, that's already edited and done. It just hasn't come out yet. And then I haven't done anything with that tank yet because I'm waiting on black PVC. I've got decorations. So I bought 2 decorations for that aquarium. It was like $600. So they're on the way. I'm still working on plumbing. Like, you guys will see that video coming out. Well, you won't see it coming out, but it's still on the camera. I was shooting it today. So, but I'm working, even though I shouldn't be working. I like that. Hello, I'm Dr. Corey McElroy. I'm fish keeping. Fraser reference. What is... I'll just answer. I'm halfway into it. What is good for a newly planted tank? We have a 20-gallon tank that's 3 weeks old. Plants aren't doing super well. Green and luscious, but roots are growing. We use Flourish Trace and liquid CO2. So Taylor, it sounds like your plants are starving to death. Have you watched my Plants 101 series? Like Flourish Trace and liquid CO2, that's like saying you want to make tacos and you bought sour cream and lettuce. Like, you're missing, like, well, where's the taco meat? Where's the shell? Where's, you know, like, you're missing all the main ingredients. But you've got lettuce and sour cream. If you pick up the rest, you got a good taco. I want to do it now where I've referenced everything back to tacos. So that way in 20 years, we can like have a list of everything I've used a taco analogy for. What goldfish would be good for a 200-gallon tub? Almost anything, Minnesota aquariums. I would really, like, if they're going to be outside, I would just do shabunkins. I love shabunkins. Maybe some wakens too. I like those. What do you do if your goldfish is not growing, but it is still pretty small? Daily Hermit, I would make sure that you deworm it. And after that, time. Like, it's kind of like, let's say you had a kid, and he's 3, and I don't know how tall a kid that's 3 is supposed to be, but let's say he's not as tall as he's supposed to be. Really, he might hit that growth spurt at age 7, where he went from, like, being 4 feet to 5.5 feet in the span of 3 months. So just be patient, really. Joel Hernandez says, I bought one of your intake sponges for my 75 goldfish tank, and it works amazing. Thank you. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Joel. It really, like, if you just service that intake sponge all the time, it keeps a lot of your other filtration really a lot cleaner, and you can go longer between servicing it, and it makes it easy to get the gunk out on a routine basis. Not only that, it can protect, like, celestial eye goldfish and stuff from having their, you know, their eye sacs sucked into an intake. You know, when that happens, you look like this. Let's see. Hit that like button, someone says. I concur. Sergeant Tank's at 570. Ooh, we can do better. We can do better. We can harness this power. I'm asking for the least amount possible here. Like, especially if there's no other way in your life you could help me by clicking one button that says subscribe. And then once he's well over 1,000, you can unsubscribe. Like, this is literally less invasive than, like, signing up for junk mail. It's not bad. Plus, I think there's a decent chance you actually like him anyway. What's my opinion on the pink matte goldfish? They normally get cold. Pink matte, I don't know. I mean, are you talking about just like the really clear white where it looks like a fleshy color? I actually think it's cool. You know, it's kind of like, I call them like the see-through goldfish. It's like the see-through guppies. Super chat from Ka Yang. Always great to support you from St. Paul, Minnesota with the super chat feature. What are some tips for maximizing goldfish growth? Clean water, warm temperatures, and not too warm, like 75 degrees, but don't let it go to 78. Like, that's too much. Like, the perfect temp. Feeding sparingly but multiple times a day, and lots of water changes, and vary the diet. So give them some duckweed, give them some brine shrimp, give them some pellets, give them some rapashi, give them some freeze-dried foods, and just keep rotating. And then time. That's the thing that you can't buy, right? But that's also what makes really big goldfish so cool, is you go, man, that person put some time into those. My gosh. Ronald says, hi, Corey, huge fan. I'm currently fattening out feeder goldfish for my 300-gallon pond with top fin cichlid pellets. Should I worry about overfeeding? You should always worry about overfeeding, but I would just tell you, keep feeding that food, but then alternate it with like something that's spirulina based or a lot of veggie. That's what I would tell you. How do I prevent male and female goldfish from breeding in the same tank? There's no way, tuna, without splitting them up, unfortunately. Maybe if you keep them really cold, maybe. But, you know, that kind of goes against the purpose of keeping them, right? Jacqueline says, I'll have to watch all your goldfish videos. Showed my mom my betta tanks and she really misses her goldfish. She did something with our water and it caused them to die years ago. Yeah, probably just, you know, bad coincidence and then there it goes and then, you know, it's like losing a dog. If you ever lost a pet like a dog, you never want to keep dogs again. And then eventually you're like, wait, dogs are awesome. I need to get one. Joel says, you have an eye sac. Yes, I know, Joel. That's why I said I got sucked into the filter intake. That's way better than everything else I've said. What would a good filter be for a 200-gallon tub? For 200 gallons, this is me personally, I would use like 2 larger sponge filters with an air pump. It keeps oxygen up. They're easy to clean, and you don't have to do any plumbing really, and so it's super duper simple. And I don't know, like if it's on your deck or something like that, but it's easy to hide just an air pump as opposed to like a whole bunch of filtration. You got to run intakes and outputs, and you know, use a lot of electricity, that type of thing. So, all right, tanks behind you looking good. Keep saying I love the color change on walls. Good, yeah. I like the color, and I want to get a lot more. I've got them all. I've got a bunch of shirts, so I've got like, I just need to get the time, but let me move my camera here. Let me scroll up here. So I want to get a lot more stuff put up here. I've got Solid Gold, I've got Rachel O'Leary, I've got King of DIY, I've got Aqua Pros, I've got, I feel like a couple more as well that I want to get hung up on this wall. And then I've got like this artwork. I want to get that hung. And I want to put some stuff around the 800 gallon as well. So kind of want to keep building the wall. Ah, the sun. Put it in my bad eye. Alright. We are putting a 125 gallon pond with a bog filter. Is this going to be big enough for 3 koi and 2 goldfish? So, Catherine Kennedy, any koi connoisseur are going to say, oh, heck no. Now, if you're saying, like, could it last for a year? Sure, yeah. But really, like, if this is, like, long-term, you could make a ridiculously cool white cloud pond, or you could probably have 5 or 6 goldfish in there and be happy. Now, it's not that koi are gonna die, but your koi might only ever get this big. Like, they might stunt out. And to some people, that's going to be a travesty. To the 5 neighbors you have around your house that are all keeping koi that way, they're going to live for 10, 15 years and they're going to love it. So it's all, you know, if the internet finds out, they'll be storming down your door. If your neighbor finds out, they'll be jealous. So it's, you know, it's one of those things like, I heard you should soak dry food because it's bad for digesting. Is this true? No. That's not true. The true statement would be if a fish way overeats a bunch of dry food and then that food takes on water and swells, could that be bad? Yes. So the goal is that don't overfeed the food and then you don't have to soak that food. But that can be difficult when you have like one goldfish that's a pig and the other ones aren't. So sometimes by hydrating the food first, it can help, but you're also losing some of your vitamins and stuff like that. Nova says, what type of goldfish do you recommend for a beginner? My recommendation is a Shabunkin goldfish. Here's why. They don't have a shortened body, so they're real easy, they're real hardy, they get longer fins, and then they've got a lot of different color patterns, a lot of calico and that kind of stuff. And so you get a lot, kind of the best of a lot of worlds there. Whereas you get into stuff really fancy and they get harder to take care of. Like if your first fancy goldfish is a like a pearl scale, you might really struggle because you've never kept goldfish before. Have I successfully bred L134s yet? I have not. Still got at least a year before I could even have a chance of doing that. Let's see here. So don't forget to buy stuff on our website. It's summer and sales are crazy slow, which makes it difficult, especially when you're trying to do some big moves. You guys won't see the big moves happen until they're done, probably. I'll be filming them, but there's some crazy... Well, in my world, I think it's crazy what we're going to accomplish. But, yeah, it's... Like, we've been sending some employees home, and they're enjoying the sun, but there's still wages to pay and things like that. So, 20% off Pond Foods, 20% when you use the code EasyGreen off all our Easy Green products on the website. And then if you haven't picked it up in chat yet, finally, we have international products, and that is shirts, coffee mugs, and stickers. And even if you're in the U.S., the mugs are only available on Teespring because I've never had mugs made, and they're kind of hard to ship. So it's the only way, and I don't know if it's a limited time, if we're going to switch the print, whatever, things, buy it before it's gone. Can you do more vids on koi? Can your next video be on koi? No. My next koi video is on Thursday. But it is a koi video. So I shot some. I think that there might be one more after that before I got to film some more, but that's all I've got in the rotation at this point. Let's see. I have 3 goldfish and I don't know how to tell if they're male or female. The only way is to vent them, Jason, or look at their body structure depending on how big they are, and I'm not well versed in venting goldfish. Sand and gravel, good or bad for comments? I personally have not had a problem either way. So I've never had a problem with them choking. Like, I wouldn't do pea gravel, like bigger gravel, but yeah, I've never had a problem. Samantha R says, there's something to be said for not pushing max growth in fancy goldfish. I love my fancies, but their extreme bodies don't always lend themselves for a long lifespan. So I think that's even more so with all fish. Like, a lot of people... You know, they comment like, why is it taking so long for my trophies to grow and some of my other fish? It's because I'm not in a race. And it's so easy to, you know, push your fish to the max and then have a problem where if I take it slow and easy, it's on autopilot. And I much prefer that. And they live long, happy, healthy lives. So I agree with the fancy goldfish. Trying to grow them, you can set yourself up for some failure. But if you just kind of take care of them over time, time's on your side. Jacqueline says, I have a hang-on-back filter and sponge filters. I recently converted all hang-on-backs to no cartridges after my video, but I see tanks with no hang-on-back and only sponge. Would you run both or just sponge for a home tank? I've done both, Jacqueline, and it just depends. Like, with a sponge-only tank, sometimes you have a little bit more floating debris, but you have less flow, which fancy goldfish is like. But if you had, like, comets and shabunkins, they like the flow, right? So a hang-on-back filter they would really love. And so I think you could do it either way. My advice to you, if you own them already, I would tell you to use them. If you're setting up another tank, I would say, why not try just the sponges, see how you like it. If you don't, then go ahead and add it. So I always say, use what you like first, or use what you have first, then think about spending money. Dean says, 510 people watching, 275 likes. Don't forget to like the stream. Well, don't forget to vote. So, if there's 510 watching and 275 like, then maybe 135 don't like. Go ahead and put the thumbs down as well. I appreciate it. What's my opinion on UV sterilizers in ponds for algae control? I think they're one of the easiest ways to control green water. They're an expensive way to do it, but I think they're beneficial. So, like on my pond right now, I have a 35 watt UV sterilizer. My 800 gallon tank is also getting a 35 watt UV sterilizer. It just comes with the pond filtration I'm using. So yeah. How big is the pond department of Aquarium Co-op? Can someone successfully sell in both markets? Or is it like, in your opinion, a store trying to do both salt and freshwater sales? So our department is tiny. Basically, we sell higher-end Japanese koi, some lower-grade pond-grade koi, and so basically I have 5 100-gallon totes typically at the height of my season, which is very small in my opinion. But I do it because a lot of the only other options are Petco's and PetSmarts, and people are struggling so much with them that I'd rather help them than not. And it still fits into my freshwater only, that type of thing. But by no means am I like a go-to koi place. Like, people come to me, but if you needed to buy a $3,000 koi filter, I'm going to tell you to go on the internet. Like, I'm not going to stock $50,000 worth of equipment that I can only sell for maybe 3 months out of the year. So, but yeah. When setting up a goldfish pond, should I go for substrate or bare bottom? I would recommend bare bottom, Ricardo, and that's just because eventually it's going to collect a lot of gunk, and it's really hard to clean it unless you're going to do an under gravel filter, which that's still going to get broken down every once in a while. Matthew Penny, hey, from Newfoundland, Canada. Do the wen on ranchus and lionhead goldfish always cause problems for them as they grow? Not always, no. Some breeders will like grow it, or not grow it, but breed it so it has more of a cap as opposed to in the face. And but I would say vast majority, yes. Eventually you start getting it to creep on their eyes a bit, and you might have to do a little bit of trimming. Yeah. Brian says, just got here. Nice shiner, Corey. The first rule of Aquarium Fight Club is we don't talk about Aquarium Fight Club. Well, all I'm saying is, how else do you think I got an 800-gallon aquarium? You should see the other guy. But for those that just came, make sure you go over to Sergeant Tanks, give him a subscribe. I really want to get him to 1,000, so that way I can super chat him. Let's be real. I'm being selfish. I want to super chat this guy, and I can't do it because he doesn't have 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys don't know, until a channel has 1,000, you can't give them a super chat. And I just want to be able to give the guy a super chat because it gives me lots of entertainment. And so do me a favor, hop over there, click one button, come back here, and we'll talk about tacos. What are my thoughts on the ethics of bubble-eyed goldfish? I feel just fine with them. We do a lot of crazy things in this world of ethical things when it comes to bubble-eyed goldfish. I feel like that's way down on the list of things that I'm going to be enraged about. Why am I only freshwater? Because I like making money. Saltwater is a sucker's game. That's not true. It depends on the market you're in, and I've analyzed my market. And so, for instance, the store that's closest to me, which is less than 7 minutes driving, is a saltwater store, and it's up for sale. Been struggling for a while now, and saltwater is just not the game to be in my state. Can you keep koi in a pond that is spring fed? Yes. Yep, some people do that. It's actually can be really good as long as you don't get any runoff. Like if you've got cow pastures and stuff up the way, and that runs off and brings a lot of fertilizer or nitrogen in, that can be problematic sometimes. What's the most expensive koi that I sell? I think the most expensive koi that I've sold in my store is $500. We don't go too much above $500 because most people, one, we don't want to spend all day talking about it. If you put a koi that's $900 in there, then they just want to talk to you all day about it, going, how could it be $900? And then the worst part is, every third person goes, oh, big koi are worth money? Well, I've got some koi. How much you want to buy them for? Meanwhile, they have koi that have no lineage. They have no like high-end qualities about them. They're stunted already, that type of thing. So we try to avoid that purely out of a, we're there to make money, and I got to pay an employee. And if he spends an hour and a half trying to talk Farmer Joe that he's not rich, and then Farmer Joe gets angry that the guy's, my employee is trying to tell him, like, take advantage of him or something, it's a lose-lose situation. But, if you want to go buy high-end koi, I can certainly take you personal shopping. In fact, I should be going to Japan this year, and the right clients can come with me. And, typically there's an expected, you're spending at least $5,000 to go, and you're going to be spending some money on koi. And so most people are spending at least $10,000 on koi or something like that. But you're welcome to come, with me and koi.com and play in some of those realms if that's something that interests you. Which, luckily, I just have to film, so I don't have to be buying stuff. I can just film the event, and then I'm really praying I don't fall in love with something because I don't want to come back broke from going to Japan. I just want to film it. If I can film it and get out, boom. Whew. Please answer me. What is a good idea for a bottom cleaner? Toilet paper. That's my recommendation for a bottom cleaner. Are we talking ponds? Are we talking aquariums? You know, what kind of fish are we talking? I can give you a better answer than that. How many gallons will the pond you plan on building this summer be? It's only going to be about, it depends on which dimensions, but between 2,000 and 3,000 gallons. It's basically, I want a small pond. So here's what I typically do. I typically go from, here's something I have. Ooh, I'm enjoying that. And then I go like completely to the opposite side of like, oh man, I bought way too big and I didn't need that big. So I'm trying to appease my wife and go from, I enjoy my koi, to here's something that's also enjoyable. And if I really love that, a year or two later, build Gigantapond, where I spend way too much money, way too much time, and just live outside next to my pond. But I'm trying to bridge that gap and make sure that I build this bigger pond, and then I still feel the need of like, man, I need so much more pond. Let's see. Trying to chime in with that guy that talking about a bottom cleaner, because I actually do want to answer that question. I don't see it though. Hopefully I didn't offend him, but cool. I'm jelly. I would love to go to Japan just to play with fish. My dream. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I mean, I went there, but I didn't go to any of the koi dealers yet. So, high pressure garden hose for bottom cleaning. Could be, yeah. If you're just trying to get it up into the filters like a skimmer. We're talking pond. I still haven't found him yet, so I'm just falling behind. Big steens in the house, or so I'm told, or I see, or I hear, something like that. What's the max size on Shibunkins? Usually 14 inches or so. Yeah. Is 65 gallons large enough to support 3 Oscars and a Plecostomus? For a period of time it could, Andrew, but long term it's going to be pretty cramped. In a best case scenario, it's going to be rough. I mean, unless they really get along, but it depends on the type of Plecostomus and your level. But I would say in general, most people would find it easier to go with something larger or less fish. I have koi goldfish hybrids that my local fish store won't take. Would they sell on Aquabid? I'm just trying to find them a new home. Deborah, I would try Craigslist and any local clubs. I don't know that, like Aquabid, people are going to bid enough for them. But yeah, try some local ways to give them away, I would. So TCW Walker says, yes, you did offend me. Well, there you go then. How do you effectively buffer a pond if not using substrate like crushed coral? Have you heard of any horror stories of it raining too much and koi escaping? I haven't heard any stories of koi escaping. I've seen that happen and heard the horror stories about like fish farms and stuff. With koi ponds, with big koi ponds, they'll typically use baking soda, and because they've got so much water, they can add a little bit, wait 24 hours, see how it goes, that type of thing. But you can use crushed coral in the filtration, like maybe in the waterfalls or something like that. But you got to make sure you pre-filter it, otherwise it's going to get jammed up with crud. I want to know how much. Corey, I wanted to know how can I set up a guppy breeder tank. Arpon Johnny, just go onto my channel and type in how to breed guppies, and there are some tutorials there for you. Whoa, they can crossbreed? Yeah, so koi and goldfish can crossbreed and stuff like that. And the easiest way to tell whether you've got usually koi or goldfish is the barbels. Usually only the koi will have the barbels there. But when you get into those hybrids, then it gets a little weird. Corey, can you talk 5 minutes about electrical safety? Sure. I mean, mostly in our hobby, So like in our remodel, for instance, I had in every breaker put on GFI and arc fault. That's because I work with water a lot, and my store is the same way. I like to protect us because we work with so much water. So that's one thing you can do, and you can get like plug-in GFIs so that you can plug all your equipment into it in a pinch. Or like if you can't redo it because like an apartment or something like that. And then drip loops. You know, everyone kind of poo-poos like, oh yeah, drip loop, but they really do prevent fires. Like once water starts coming out of a tank, if it follows its way to the socket, it's either, at best case, it just trips a breaker and turns everything off, right? So you're still losing all your filtration and everything to your tank. Worst case, starts a fire. So drip loops are important. I like to mount all my power strips as high up as I can, so it makes that drip loop as easy as possible. And then if you plug stuff into the ceiling or above your tanks, then water's not going to travel upward, so you'll be fine. Let's see here. Ooh, looks like TCW Walker got banned because he's, basically offended that we did a joke at his expense with not qualifying a statement. So, this is the public service announcement part. Like, if you're going to ask a question, realize there's a billion questions. All you got to do is add a little bit of qualifying info. Like, in his question, what's a good bottom cleaner? You could say, for a pond, my 10-gallon aquarium, my 65-gallon aquarium with 3 Oscars. You could say, any of those, and then I could help you. But since we're talking about ponds today, what I'm using in my pond, I use Japanese trapdoor snails, which reminds me, I need to order some right when I get off here tonight. And I'm also using high-fin banded sharks. They get huge, and they're an algae eater, but those are the 2 that I use that I can overwinter year-round here. The oldest goldfish I personally encountered. That I don't know, Seth. I've never really asked about the goldfish. So I don't know. Like, it would probably be like 6 years or something. Nothing crazy, I bet. What plants do I recommend for your tub project? I really like in the summer water hyacinth. It blooms, which is super cool. Which, by the way, I've got my irises blooming outside right now. But water hyacinth, easy to get, bloom it, lots of roots for Fry to hide in. Any aquarium plant trimmings you got, put those outside, that'll help. Java moss, I find it gets a little gunky when it comes time to bring it back in. So most of my plants don't come back in, so I like to use kind of disposable plants. We put the water hyacinth in the garden, let it break down for next year. Let's see. I love this guy. He actually answers questions, interface with the consumer. I wish my local store was as concerned about the end user as Aquarium Co-op. You, sir, are doing a great thing. I think the same thing. Like, I want all store owners to do this, but also at the same time, maybe they've just got different stores and they don't have the time. Like, I'm lucky that we've been able to make, by you guys supporting me online and super chats and stuff like that, we're able to make time to do this and pay for my employees to be there while I'm here, that type of thing. So it definitely takes, to get to the point we are at today, realize it took 2 years of just like moving ponds, right? And slowly making the way to get here. Like, I couldn't just tomorrow, I'm working in the store and be like, I'm going to be you guys online. Like, it takes a long time to get to that. And hopefully they're making some moves, though. That's the thing. If you're not trying, you'll never get there. Ooh, I wanted to bring up, this is a goldfish food. Hold on. People have been asking me what I suggest besides Repashy for sinking goldfish food. And my recommendation is now the Bug Bites goldfish formula. We've been selling the crud out of all the Bug Bites in general. We've got our website for sale. I know not a lot of other people do. It's hard to find, but we do have it. And I was trying to remember to mention that because people always ask. They all, like a lot of online forums and stuff, they say only feed goldfish sinking food, and then they're always looking for stuff. I always recommend Repashy, and I don't have like a good pellet that I make or anything, but I do like this one. I've been feeding it quite a bit. So any hints for pond sludge? I have used Sludge Buster. It helped a little bit. Too difficult to manually clean. Sorry if this question was asked already. Here's what I do. Like, this is going to sound crazy, but this is why I don't do gravel. I'm hoping you might have some gravel, but basically get a brine shrimp net, a big brine shrimp net, a really fine net, and like grab gunk and just put it into a bucket. Grab gunk. And if you have gravel, get the gravel and put it onto like in a bucket, and then just rinse it really well. And just keep doing that every month. And so I mean every month, like take a section and do it, not the entire thing. Like here's the problem I find with most pond owners. They do absolutely nothing but change the water, and sometimes they don't even change the water. If you spend like 4 hours a month on your pond, and I'm talking like legit 4 hours, not like I sat and watched my koi, but like I spent 4 hours in shorts inside my pond or working on my filtration or something like that. If you do that every month while it's warm, your pond will really do well for it. And you know, you might go, well, I just spent 4 hours, it doesn't look that much better, but by the next week, or by the next month, and then the next month, it really will. And so if you can do that going into winter, so your pond goes into winter clean, and then you come out of winter and you're clean, and then you stay clean, it's good. But a lot of times we do nothing. A lot of ponds get nothing for like 5 years, and then it looks really bad, and then we're like, oh, maybe I should do something. And then we put in a little bit of effort, and then we go, oh, it's still not looking that good. Really, we need to make up for 5 months of not cleaning. Where'd that turtle go? Oh, there he is. It's camoed. Corey should have worn an eye patch and done a live stream about pirate ship decor, so he wouldn't have to answer about his eye. Yar. I actually did do a live stream with my eye patch on, and that was the business live stream I did on Thursday. If you're not checking out my other channel, I have a channel called Corey McElroy, where I talk about business stuffs. And for any of you that have a business, it's been helpful that people say, and people are even enjoying that don't have a business. So, how much Mountain Dew do I drink every day? Typically about 2 of these. I also, you know, every once in a while I drink this clear stuff. I think it's what we keep fishing. Ooh, there we go. I wanted to read that question. Dang nabbit. Oh. Is there any way to sticky messages to the top so people quit asking about Corey's eye? Nope, a super chat could do it, but there's no way to sticky it. I hope one day that Google makes like an upvoting system so we could all vote, and then it would be at the top thing that says, my dog kicked me in the eye. Let's see here. Looks like Trevor is having some problems with moderators. Let me scroll up and see if he's having more problems. I can't believe I literally got banned for no reason. Alright, let me scroll up some more. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason. Maybe that guy is the other guy about the bottoms. Who knows? Who knows? Won't a bog filter help with that? Usually a bog filter just kind of collects some debris also. And so the thing is, debris itself isn't harmful. A lot of people just see particulate matter and they go, my tank is dirty or my pond is dirty. It's not, but a bog filter will really help with like chemically cleaning the water. But in koi ponds, we usually want to look crystal clear so we can really see into it. And so yeah, Danks Tank's got the right statement. Subscribe and tell your grandma to like it. I concur. Do I recommend calcium mineral blocks? I need something for my snail shells. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. The Zoomed Plankton Banquet blocks work really well. Wonder shells work really well. Yeah, even like basic chalk can do it. No additives can be in there. That's the important thing. But yeah. Can we ask any questions now? Yep, we're after the 1 hour mark, so we can ask some questions if we need to. Corey, I love how honest you are with everything. Hope one day I can buy from your store if I ever move to the USA. Well, Ricardo, maybe someday we'll get the empire so big we can ship out. For now, a couple lines down it says Teespring. You can buy a shirt and a coffee mug. Like I'm working on it. Trust me. There's no one on this planet more that wants to peddle my crap to the rest of the world than this guy. I would love to do that, and I would love for you guys to be able to support me too. Like, all the support helps, and I try to push it all back into the hobby as much as I can while still buying an 800-gallon aquarium. I'd be lying to say if I wasn't doing this for money. It is my job, but even when I make money, I buy stupid things like big aquariums because I think they'll be cool. Let's see here. What happened to my left eye? This is going to be the new game for the rest of the stream. Every time I read that, I'm just going to make up a new story. So I was catching out an arowana at the store. It was about this big, and when I got the net or the bag around it and I was lifting it up, it jumped out, hit me right in the eye. I had to be rushed to the ER, and luckily they could save it. And so now I know don't do that. How big do green terrors get? Like this big-ish, roughly. New game. Take a shot whenever Corey says yeah. Yeah! But it has to be from the Aquarium Co-op mini measure shot glass, though. Alright? How many turtles do I have? I don't even know. It's getting to be quite a few. How many eggs haven't hatched? That's a better question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 of them haven't hatched yet. What do I think about Vitachem? I think it's a very good thing for predator fish, like puffers and that kind of stuff, where it's really hard to get them to eat dry foods. I love Vitachem for that. Is there a way to remove little scratches from the inside of a tank with fish and water? Can I keep 5 black neons and 5 threadfin rainbows and a dwarf gourami and a 20 long? You can keep those fish in a 20 long. If it's acrylic, there's technically kits to do some cleaning on that, but glass takes something oxide. I can't remember it, and it would be cheaper to buy new. In fact, both options is cheaper to buy a new aquarium than what it takes. Steenfod Aquatic says, "Oh my god, what happened to your eye?" Well, because Steenfod is so tall, he was filming something, and I walked up behind him, and he turned around, and his natural height of his elbow just hit me right in the eye. So, he's that tall. I'm literally at, like, his elbow height. Me and Bob like to troll each other. I usually ask him on his live stream every time, what would he keep in a 10-gallon aquarium? Is putting a pleco in a pond okay? It can be done, Catherine, but usually you got to bring them in during the winter. And so people do it, but then realize it can be really difficult if you have rock work and stuff to catch that pleco back out. But they do look really cool. My friend just gave me 3 55-gallon tanks. One of the tanks has cracks around the trim. Is it still safe to use? If it's only in the trim, you could get some replacement trim, or you could shore it up a little bit, but the official answer is no. The unofficial answer is you should totally use that aquarium outside, so if it gives way, you're good to go. What on earth are you going to do with all those turtles? You can't sell them. What about rehoming? Some might find some homes, but I also want to make a ridiculously big paludarium that is cool with a lot of mini turtles. So that's my game plan. How do you feed Vitachem to puffers? Usually I would soak it with cocktail shrimp. That's the best method I've found. So Trevor is just being like a drama llama right now. Wow, I got timed out of the chat 3 times now. Please stop. It's it's easier. We will stop timing you out. It's easier just to block you. Done. Done deal, buddy. What would you keep in an aquarium? I would keep any aquarium. If I don't have to take care of it, I would keep pajama cardinals is what I would keep right now. Saltwater fish. Is 30 parts per million nitrates too high for cherry shrimp? I keep my aquarium at that level of nitrates to be able to grow plants. The question I would have is, how do your shrimp look? Are they doing well? Then if they are, the answer is no. If you're struggling, drop it down a little bit. But I think it'll do just fine. Where did you get the black eye? I just came here. Well, so I was bending down to try and get one of the golf balls that came from the golf course over into my pond, and I hit myself right on the return of my filter pump and jabbed my eye. Had to be rushed to the ER. Why is my Aranda so hungry? Mostly because they have such a small stomach, they're always going to the bathroom and it's going right through them. And so they're constantly hungry. Corey complaining about tacos? This is a lie? Yeah, I don't... Well, you're right. I don't complain about tacos. I complain about soft tacos, which are actually burritos, so... Ouch, did the mob come after you when you missed the payment for the 800-gallon? Hope your eye heals up well. Nope. It was a work-related injury. That's all we're gonna say. Oscar's Fish Tank says, I have a pair of bettas. I'm thinking to get a red, white, and blue placat and breed it with something cool. What else would I get? I have 4 sets of 2 jars for breeding and 2 tanks. I would say lots of cups, because depending if the tanks are big enough, you can raise the fry together. Maybe some catappa leaves, a good quality food, and then some baby brine shrimp, like some eggs ready to hatch out is what I would do. This is my new favorite game. Melanie says, is your eye alright? It's fine. I'll see you again. They just say that I lost vision in this eye for the next 34 hours due to fish gunk hitting it. Matthew Penny says, $5 super chat. Clown pleco breeding details? Was thinking of breeding a pleco other than bristlenose. So I've never bred the bristle or the clown pleco, but high protein diet. I don't think it's that difficult because the fish itself is actually pretty cheap and they're normally not wild caught. But I'm not sure the market for it because they only get about this big, right? So it's kind of like the dwarf claro pleco I breed. At this size, they're still like 9 months to a year old, and most people go, oh, that's just a baby. And so you might run into the fact we got to grow it out for 18 months, and then someone only buys it off you for like $4 or something. So, but as far as breeding details, I would keep it up around 82 degrees. I'd offer some wood in there, lots of hidey holes, just like normal, and high protein diet. Susan O'Connor says, I can't super chat. I've got an iPhone. Yeah, me too. Darn iPhones. Zach's Crazy Aquarium Guy donated 50 SEK. I think that's Sweden currency? I don't know. It says, more eye stories. And if you haven't checked it out already, Zach's Tanks Crazy Aquarium Guy has a channel, and I've seen it before. Check him out. Okay, Corey, who punched you? I'll beat him up for you. Was it Bob? Nope, it was my little dog, Sassy. I was sleeping, and then every once in a while she stretches, right, like dogs do, and she just wham, right in the eye. It was horrible. Either that or it was my wife and she blamed it on the dog. Who knows? Corey, I have a complete collection of Garbage Pail Kids. What would you trade for them? Oh, man. Who doesn't like Garbage Pail Kids? And, what is it, Corey Apple Corey? Corey Apple? That's the one that's got all the worms coming out of the thing, right? Corey Apple, I think. I think it is. Garbage Pail Kids and Alf. That's where it was. Oof, that was good. Clown Loach spike to the eye. Yep. Dang, wish I'd thought of that one. At Aquarium Co-op, it's on my channel. I can't really describe it because they're unique looking. I'm trying to remember what I was just talking about with you. I apologize. Oh, the male is generic betta, and so is the female. Oh, okay. Corey was in a taco eating contest, and he missed his mouth, hit him in the eye. Yep. Now you know why I don't like spicy things. You know, when you're eating tacos that fast, and you get hot sauce in the eye, woo, it's horrible. Hey, Corey, do you know why striped fish are sometimes called clown something? I don't know that answer, actually. That's interesting. I don't know. H2O Plants, just stopping by to show you some love. Just got done with my stream. Well, thank you, buddy. I was in and out of your live stream yesterday all day long. I was watching the 24-hour marathon of you building a stand, which you're braver than I to do that real time, because I like to do that off camera and then make myself look good. Like, yeah, I built it in 3 minutes, instead of going, oops, oh yeah, I got to do that part. But you trucked on well into the night. It was getting dark, and there's fireworks going on. So yeah, I was there. I was cool. Ideas for a pair of Central or South American cichlids for a 40 breeder rainbow tank. Thomas, I would do a Pistogramma cockatoides just because I love them. Why can't I sell the turtles? Because they don't get over 4 inches, and in the United States, any turtle under 4 inches can't be legally sold by a store. It can be sold at reptile shows and from hobbyist to hobbyist, but not in a store. And because I own a store, that means that I can't sell them. Shabunkins or Wakens for a 150-gallon stock tank? I would do Shabunkins just because I like them more, but they're pretty equivalent. Melanie says, I love H2O plants. I just wish the shipping was cheaper. We all wish shipping was cheaper. That is the one thing that, like, last month, I spent $10,200 just in shipping fees to ship stuff out to people. Shipping is brutal. And that's, customers don't realize, like, when they get free shipping, that means $10,000. Like, not all of them, obviously, were free shipping, but shipping is brutal for a small business. And to get the next tier of shipping, I have to ship 60,000 packages. That's $5,000 a month. Currently, I think we're at, like, I don't know, 1,300 or something. So we're, like, years off from UPS or anyone even, like, taking a look at us. So yeah, turtle. I was reading something about a turtle, but shipping is just brutal for everyone. Atlantic Aquariums, any advice for a new YouTube channel? Go to YouTube and type in Corey McElroy, and you can see my business channel, and you can get a lot of YouTube tips over there. Jimmy doesn't own a store. It's true, but I run a very by-the-book business because the stress is what I can't deal with. And so I always want to do things so I can get through audits and all kinds of stuff and just know that I've done everything knowingly by the book, and I don't want to blur any lines. H2O Plant says, LOL, I built the same stand twice. Next week, I will own it. Got the right tools now. Yep. I've been there and done that. Like, building stands is brutal. Like, getting a 2x4 that isn't in a circle from, like, any hardware store is about impossible, I think, these days. Ooh, Amir Agazia? Greetings from Egypt. I made a spawning mop from cotton material. Is it okay or what? If it's cotton, over time it's going to rot in the water, but you could probably use it for quite a while before that becomes a big problem. And I hope to get out to Egypt someday. Like, some of the markets and stuff and the way they sell fish on the back of a bicycle and those kinds of things are super cool. I want to check that out. Have I ever seen white Dumbo ear guppies? I don't believe I have seen them. I'm not saying they don't exist. I just don't know if I've seen it. Bedlamkin said, I would like to open a restaurant with Corey. I will be Corey's Flying Tacos. The restaurant will feature the best draft beer and prawn tacos. If I get involved with a restaurant, they have to have what I call like high-end nachos. Each nacho is handcrafted. None of this like put the chips on a plate, put cheese on, warm them up, all that kind of stuff. Every nacho handcrafted, artisan nachos coming to you. To Corey's Flying Taco Shack near you. Let's see. Taking your advice to be positive when posting to new aquarium folks on Reddit. If anywhere needs positive people posting, it's Reddit. That place, unfortunately, tears people down. I interact with people all the time in the store, that type of thing, where they posted for advice and the entire internet, basically came crashing down on them, and it was discouraging. So yes, Reddit can be awesome, but it can also be the internet, which we all know the internet, right? Do I own a fish store? I do indeed, Melanie. I do indeed. My wife, you're high-end nachos every time. She's heard that story more than once. I do want high-end nacho dispensary. I'm going to get a 20-gallon. Wait, I'm going to get a 20-gallon. And for cycling, should I use 2 to 3 Danios for it? You could, Andrew. You could, like, I usually recommend cycling with plants and then the fish you actually want to keep. So that's my recommendation. Ronald says, hi, Corey. I'm looking for bottom feeders to breed in my 75-gallon tank with silver dollars. I've narrowed it down to the horse-faced loach, twig cats, whiptail cats, or banjo cats. Any tips? Unfortunately, I haven't bred any of those. I would say banjo cats I'm not a fan of. Horse-faced loaches in general are crazy difficult to breed. Whiptail and twig cats can be bred. I would go with those, but I'm not sure, like, depending on the whiptail and the twig cat, some of them carry them on their lip and that kind of thing. And I'm not well versed in that. So I think there's a good video of at least a person that's breeding quite a few of those on LR Brett's Aquatics channel. It was Oddball Aquatics. The wife was really breeding a lot of them, and his name is Eric. Her name is, oh, I can't think of it. I feel horrible. I'll think of it as soon as I'm done with the stream. I know it. What would I recommend for a 5-gallon tank? Maybe one betta, maybe a dwarf frog. I'm not a big fan of small tanks myself, so that's why I don't have a lot of recommendations for it. Good medium light for a reasonable price for a 20 long. In my experience, Alex, I would recommend the Phoenix Stingray. I use them like in almost all of my aquariums. Corey, you should try nachos at LACN Tower in Toronto. Best nachos I've ever tried, and trust me, I'm good at preparing and eating nachos. Alright. Do you need to feed Japanese trapdoor snails in the winter? Nope. They hibernate as well. At least I've never needed to feed them. Hey Corey, my Ranchu has bubbles in his poop. Is this unhealthy? So wet sleeves, a lot of times that can mean they have an internal tapeworm, so I would go ahead and deworm them. That's what I would try first. Can rams go with guppies? Also, are German blue rams and Bolivian rams same thing? So those two are different, with Bolivian rams being easier and usually a little more laid back. Guppies can be done with those, but a lot of the fry are just going to get eaten. So, my local fish store sells autos for 99 cents. Do you think this is super low? PetSmart sells them for $2.99 in the same location. I would say that's really cheap. You know, like a lot of times autos, I think I pay more than 99 cents for an auto. You know, they're probably just trying to turn them all the time, and then people probably don't complain much if they die at 99 cents. So that's probably the tactic. Let's see here. Corey, did you argue with someone about soft tacos to get the eye? No, I don't argue with people that are clearly misinformed. Like, the fact that they would even argue that point would be a waste of my time. I did want a taco eye patch, though. Have you guys had tamales? Yes. In fact, one of my customers used to bring me tamales, and they were the best tamales I ever had. I would eat them right now. What are the top items that make you the most revenue in your store? Probably lighting. We sell a lot of lighting. Fertilizers. We sell a lot of fertilizers. Yeah. I mean, I'd have to look. Probably those. Corey, there's blue spots, smudges on my glass in my 10-gallon, right where the substrate is. Is that bad? It's probably not bad. What it probably is blue-green algae, Sam. Look into that. Probably just a little cyanobacteria starting up. Not necessarily a bad thing. Angelo says, what happened to Corey's eye? What, is there something wrong with my eye? Huh. Is there something? Huh. Oh, man. Catfish Cave. Shishimi asked for a raise and Corey said no, and then pow. I like that story. Yeah. Nisi stopping in for a minute. Gotta get going. Back to family time. Have a great chat. See y'all awesome fish keepers in that time. Hashtag fish fam. Hashtag hug all your fish tanks. So that reminds me, where are we at with Sergeant Tank? I really want to get this gentleman to 1,000 subs so I can super chat him. Help me do this. Where are we at? We're at 609. How many people are watching right now? Small favor, I swear. 547 people. If all of you guys go over to Sergeant Tank and click subscribe, get him to 1,000, I can then super chat him, and then my life will be complete. What is the optimal TDS for general tetras, neons, embers, Rominos, etc.? So, Maddie, if you watch my video on TDS, you'll know that it can be made up of a lot of things. If you want a number, I'm going to say like 150. But that quantifies nothing as the problem. Because you could have 150 in just a chlorinator, or salt, or calcium. But if I just got to pick a number out of a hat, it's 150. Let's see here. I want to answer that question. The person says it feels bad for spamming. I'm looking for it, looking for it. Dang nabbit, can't find it easily. I suppose I have to give up. Oh. But don't feel bad. You know, don't spam over and over and over and over and over and over again. But I do try to get there as much as I can. Can a school of neon tetras and a school of guppies go in a tank together? Yes, Nebula. It can be done, but realize tetras usually want softer water, and then the guppies want harder water. So you got to blend that line perfectly, and you can do it. What test strips do you use, and how often do I test? So I typically only test when I think something's off. Because I work with fish all day long, I can usually spot it. But I use the Tetra 6-in-1 strips. I cut them in half so I get twice as much. And newer tanks I test all the time, right? Or like something where I know I have a high load, like our koi totes outside. But in general, because I change so much water, usually nothing comes up on a test strip for me. Bedlamkin, $5 super chat. This is the Sergeant Peppers of Aquarium chat. Thanks. Well, thank you. Can you feed ram's horn snails to your turtles? You can, and I do. I think it's a great calcium source for them, personally. Let's see. Seth says, this might be weird, but I just want to say I really like the redesigned custom thumbnails for your vids. Been learning how to do that for my channel. Respect the hustle. Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Like a lot of people, they gain a lot of respect for other YouTubers when they start doing it. When you all of a sudden you go, oh, thumbnails. Okay, like most people don't realize that me and Jimmy might spend 1 to 2 hours between choosing out a title, the tags, the way the thumbnail looks, that type of thing, because it makes all the difference between like the wrong thumbnail, 2,000 people watch it. The right thumbnail, 20,000 people watch that same video. And so it's, you know, making a sign basically is what you're doing. It can be really difficult. Where can you buy cockatoo cichlids? I would probably grab some on Aquabid. That's where I would try. Waiting for my first order from Aquarium Co-op. Can't wait to try the Easy Green Furt. Well, Nanoforce 2, it should work well for you. Jeff says, Corey, my goldfish tank had a recent ammonia spike. I think the huge pH drop killed my beneficial bacteria. Did a big water change, increased KH to 7, but my pH and KH dropped off again next week to 6 and 0, respectively. Help. What did you use to adjust your KH? Like a lot of those, like pH up, pH down, buffer up, buffer down, they're not a long-term thing. I like to use crushed coral to do it myself. Ryan says, it is my birthday. Well, happy birthday, Ryan. Thanks for hanging out with us fish nerds on your birthday. Who Lives on a Pineapple Under the Sea? One of my favorite cartoons. Joseph, sub to Sergeant Tank per request. Thank you, Joseph. I genuinely appreciate that. Honestly. A little bit in our day. Like, if we can get to 1,000, think when he, like, logs in and he sees it at 1,000, he's going to be over the moon, and all we have to do is click a button. Like, that's amazing to me that we can click buttons and people, go insane about it. I love that. Will neon tetras thrive in a water pH of 7.8? Ted, they could. I would try to get neon tetras that have been bred and raised in Florida. They're going to have much higher pH, and so you should do a lot better with them there. Maddie says, thank you for the answer, Corey. Looking to introduce tetras into my shrimp tank of TDS 200-250 using the salty shrimp minerals plus RO. Is there any negative effects to keeping tetras in 200-250 TDS? No, I think you'll be just fine, Maddie. I don't think you'll run into any problems. In fact, because your TDS is made up of salty shrimp minerals, I bet you they'll live long, healthy lives and not have any calcium deficiencies or anything like that. So, do the easy root tabs not work with the easy green code? If it's not working, it's not. I must have only done those. I think at the time I didn't have root tabs or something like that. So, yeah. So sorry to keep asking, but do you have any tips for an egg-bound female betta? I've tried fasting her to see if she would reabsorb them, but it's not working. I don't have any tips for you, Samantha. Maybe check in with Inglorious Bettas or Creative Pet Keeping. I've always had problems with females getting egg-bound, and that's why I don't recommend sororities and stuff like that. I've never been able to keep a group of them long-term without it. If you lose a comment, use Control F. Does that work on the chat? Let me see. It does. I use Control F all day long, every day, in all other aspects of my life. I don't know why I wasn't doing that. What size do females breed? I lost the age count for my virgin female. By the way, if you lose a question, hit Control F. Usually it's size. 3 months old and larger for talking guppies. So as long as they're 3 months old, they'll breed. What happened to Corey's eye? Someone tell me. Well, I went into another fish store and I wanted to talk about doing an event and the guy punched me in the nose. Yeah. $5 super chat from Kang Lee. How do I get to Corey's level of cool? Thanks for the awesome stream as always. First, King Lee, I think the easiest way is to up your taco consumption. That's the fast track plan to getting to my level of cool. And by my level, I mean overweight from eating too many tacos. Jeff says, thanks for the answer, Corey. We'll try crushed coral instead of baking soda I use. Yep, try some crushed coral. I think that'll help you long term. It's the best that I've come up with because I've got really soft water with nothing. Matt P. winning the award for cleverness today. He says, I concur, EYE concur. That is genius, my friend, and I appreciate it. Thanks. I remember Inglorious Betta saying to fast egg-bound females on your interview series with her. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you. I hate when I don't have the answer, or the answer is like, yeah, I've only had bad luck too. Like, oh dang. Any tips for pufferfish? Go watch our 2-hour live stream on puffers. That would have a lot of tips in it for you. Zombie King? Do buried female shrimp molt and lose the eggs, or will they wait till after birth to molt? Usually they'll wait till after, unless they're crazy stressed out. I see a lot of Tetra questions. Can I ask for a Tetra stream next week? Nebula last week was Tetras, so go watch that live stream. Literally 7 days ago, we talked about Tetras for a long time. Looking at getting a blood parrot, where is a good place to get them, and what should I look for when purchasing? I would say if you're getting them small, buy them without any color. Typically they're going to be black, and then they're going to come into that color. If they're this big and they're really bright and colorful, they probably got hormones in them, coloring them up early. So I would say, and then just look to see like if their mouth looks to be working, then they're probably good to go. They have limited function, but Yeah. Please take a moment to like the stream for Corey. Well, thank you, Dean. How can I get more mosquito larvae in my water? Don't put a bubbler in it. They like still waters. That's the best way, Reckless. What heater would I recommend for a 20-gallon? Probably just a 100-watt. Pick your flavor. What happened to my betta barracks? I shut her down. In fact, you guys will see it. You know where that betta barracks was? I tore that whole wall down yesterday. I told you, big things are coming. Told you. It's right there on video. You got a bug sashimi for it. Ooh, I should do something. What can we do? Give me ideas. What should we do if Sergeant Tank hits 1,000 subscribers today? What can we do for that? I really want it to happen today. I want, like, Sunday night, nothing's going on. He logs in and it's like, oh, great googly moogly. I hit 1,000 subs. I want that to happen for that guy. What can we do if that happens? Like a giveaway? Here's the deal. Here's the deal. If he hits 1,000 by midnight tonight, all right? That's got to be today. I will send out a bug bite package, one of all the flavors I sell. So like the Goldfish, the Pleco, and the smaller blend to one of the subscribers that is a subscriber. So you got a 1 in 1,000 chance for doing nothing but helping a guy out. So I'm helping you help someone out. That sounds awesome. Little largemouth. Was it a load-bearing wall? Of course it was. How do you think I damaged my eye? Do my dogs eat tacos too? They do. In fact, my wife has special taco treats. I have to shave my right eyebrow. Oof. If this face like this face couldn't get any worse than it already is, shaving my eyebrows. Oof. Who needs 1,000 subs? We need 1,000 subscribers for Sergeant Tanks. Just because I want to super chat the guy. You can't get super chat until you got 1,000. He does a lot of live streams, does a lot for the community. He's driving around, showing someone that flew in from the UK. He's hanging out with them all weekend, driving around, showing them other YouTubers and stuff like that. I just want the guy, you know, to get to 1,000. Buy a 100,000 grand bar and we'll take pics and support. I haven't had a 100,000 grand candy bar in a long time. Or 1,000 grand? 100,000? I don't know. Maybe I just made it a lot. Have I seen the Fluol Evo saltwater 5-gallon? I haven't seen it in person. I think my employee owns Evo 12 though. Wow, I'm late. What happened to Corey? So I was eating a Reese's peanut butter cup, and it was really hot and melty, right? Because it was in my car, and then I hit a speed bump, and I was eating like this, and it hit my eye, but it was so hot, it melted and burned onto there. So it was not a good thing. I had to go to the ER, and it kind of looked like there was poop in my eye. Ugh, it was bad. It was bad, let me tell you. I will say this, by the way. This is not the reason I'm doing this, but Sergeant Tank's wife did say that if he could get to 1,000 subs, and he agreed to this, that he would wear crayfish as earrings, like get him to pinch on there for a minute. That's not the reason I'm doing it, but you can also expect those kind of shenanigans from his channel, which will be just fun. So, but yes, we will give away a Fluval like food kit to one of the subs. We're up to 675. We gotta get there. I mean, how many people we got? How many people in this chat? We gotta motivate the army of Taco Union here. I can't see. I can't see. My eye. My eye. 547 people still. Or at least that was the high today. Fancy guppy giveaway if Tank gets to 1,000. Oof. I might have to do something like that. The eye stories are getting weirder and weirder. Well, yes, as it goes on, like, because that way when people watch it on the replay, most people have tuned out 3 minutes into it. But by the time you get this far, you'll at least know why these stories are happening. Can you super chat on a phone? You can, usually just not an iPhone, unfortunately. 1,000 subs is a wedgie. Oh no, I can see it. Big Steen give me the atomic wedgie. No, not again. At what size do trumpet snails start reproducing? About like an inch, I would say. Would a small pom-pom goldfish be okay in a small pond? Not sure the exact measurements. It could work, but if it's a small pond, they could overheat, and pom-pom goldfish are a little bit sensitive. What's the best way to remove tadpoles from a pond? In my opinion, put a fish in there that'll eat them, like a channel catfish or a big goldfish or koi, something like that. Petro asked, I asked because I forgot my female's age. Can you tell me in terms of inches? I would say like inch to inch and a half, and they're ready to start breeding. Send Easy Green to Canada. I would. Canada makes it difficult. Tell Canada to make it easier to sell stuff in Canada. Change that law, and Easy Green, the rivers will flow green in Canada if you can make that happen. If your eye looks like that, what does Shishimi look like? He's like a ninja, so he still looks fine. Dang it. Let's see. Alex says, Murphy didn't like his choice of food, I take it? Exactly. Exactly. How can you get rid of hair algae, Donna? Usually correcting the balance between light and fertilizers. That'll stop it from growing, but then something like Florida flagfish, Siamese algae eaters, monoshrimp, that kind of stuff. You watch the Planet 101 series about algae, it'll teach you a lot more about the about what's going on and help you correct it long term. Lee says, oh my gosh, Corey, are you okay? Yeah, you know, I was just... The problem is, so I came home, the lights were out, and I forgot the 800-gallon tank was there, and I turned the corner to go into here to get into the studio, and wham, right in the corner. And luckily the tank's okay, and my eye is going to make it, but I just got to look extra ugly for a few days. I was just thinking about how, like, the people that came in late probably won't rewatch where it started, and so, like, 500 people are going to have, like, 500 different stories they're going to talk about, and it's going to be hilarious, like, down the road, like, how's your eye doing from running into the tank? Remember that one day when you had a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup melt to your eye? Oh, man. All right. Dragon says, I don't think it's possible because not everyone's going to do it. You can't force everyone to do it. Maybe everyone's going to do it when we end. Like, we'll link it. And we've got till midnight, so that's like another 5 hours. So we can make this happen. I want to make someone happy today. That's my goal. Is it okay that I bullied Sergeant Tank's sub button on his channel a while back? So now as a result, I can't do it anymore? That's good. That's A-okay. We can offer supports. How many standard goldfish in a 1,000-gallon pond? Typically, I recommend about 30 gallons of water per goldfish, so that's roughly 330. Is that right? No, that is roughly 30. My math on it was a little quick. Oh, John, you got it. Yeah, I went and shot a secret video over at Aqua Pros, and his archer fish spit right into my eye. And the water was infected. Now I got an eye problem. Ugh. Joseph says, Corey, has your website changed recently? It has. I did a whole overhaul because I was kind of stuck not doing a lot with this whole eye thingy. So I spent a lot of time working on the computer. Florida flagfish just got these at Aquarium Co-op and they eat algae like no one's business. That is true, Jennifer. I love them. They're a little bit ornery though, but I do love them and they look cool. So they got a lot going for them. 6 minutes left. Jazz says, just joined. What happened to his eye? Oh. So, I was sitting here, and I was getting ready for the live stream on my business channel. This would have been Thursday, right? And so I was getting ready, and then I dropped my phone, and I went down, and I hit my eye right on the microphone. And, luckily it's padded, so I didn't lose my eye, but it swelled up a ton. So I've been told that Prime takes fertilizers out of the water. Do you know anything about this? And if I should wait a couple of days before dosing Easy Green? I don't know if that's true or not, Maggie. I definitely have dosed Prime and fertilizers forever that way, and I've never noticed any ill effects. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying I haven't seen the ill effects from it. So I can't imagine that's true, and here's why. Seachem tests all their products together, and like even their Purigen doesn't take out fertilizers. But I would call Seachem and then like ask them to ask their lab nerds, and I'm guessing it's designed so it won't do that. But I don't know. Is Aquarium Co-op open tomorrow? You better believe it, Phil. We are open tomorrow. Corey, a mini pond with just snails and shrimp, no air stone or filter. Can it work? It can, William, but if you can add a little bit of air, it really does make it easier. My longfin zebra danio are now 4 inches. Will they keep growing? That seems insane. 4 inches like that? I don't think so. I think you're maxed out on crazy superhuman zebra danios there. Let's see. Did you shake a Mountain Dew and the cap exploded in your face? No, Dragon. So what I was doing is I was trying to do the, you know, the diet soda and Mentos thing. I was trying to make that video, right? Because I'm like late to the bandwagon. I didn't realize that was like a big thing on the internet like a couple years ago. So I go to do it and I'm putting the cap on, except I don't put it on, right? So it's off to the side a little bit, and that cap shot off at 1,000,000 miles an hour and hit me right in the eye. Luckily I closed my eye, so it just swelled up a ton, but let me tell you, don't do diet soda and Mentos and put the cap on. Turns out you're not supposed to use a cap. Who knew? Do you need pure oxygen to ship fish? No, it can help with some fish, but like with bettas and corydoras and some other things, pure oxygen can actually be harmful. It's too much of a my brain can't work, too many eye stories. It's too rich and it can actually burn their, like if they're a labyrinth fish, it can burn their gills and stuff. Memorial Day sale, yeah, there's some pond stuff on sale. There's Easy Green on sale. There's the new international t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, where do I get an L25? Probably Aquabid. I got guppies and they all died. I don't know why. My water is good, but before the last female died, she had 1 fry. Any ideas? Raymundo, I would say maybe they were raised in brackish water. Maybe they had a crazy bad bacterial infection or something. Usually there's always a reason, just a lot of times we don't see it. So, yeah. 649 on Sergeant Tanks. We can do it. We can do it, people. We can do it. What's the most expensive koi I've ever seen? The most expensive I've seen in person, I think, is 17,000. That's what I've seen in person. Let's see here. Turns out one of the turtles is already Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stage and hit Aquarium Co-op right in the face. It's true. That's why I didn't take this little baby out of this tank yet, because you're lifting it, you're looking at it, waka, right in the eye. I don't want to lose both eyes. That would be horrible. Let's see. Michael says, whoa, what happened to Corey's eye? Just got here, so I apologize. The story's already been told to death right now. Don't worry. Everyone loves the story, Michael. So, I was out in my yard, and my neighbor just mowed my yard, which good guys mow my yard. It's great. But then I was like, man, what is this? Like, there's a bunch of ants right here. My dog was trying to roll in it. So then I'm walking back over to get the little shovel to dig whatever it is up, and I trip, and I hit my eye right on my deck railing. And then, of course, it's like, oh my God, what do I got to do? And I had a splinter in here, so we had to rush to the ER, and then they take the splinter out, and they say there's going to be a lot of swelling and stuff like that going on for another, few days at least. Take it easy. And, luckily I don't have to wear an eye patch or anything, so. Oh, man. Corey lost the fight with the heron? Yes. Moriarty? He tried to peck my eye out, but I grabbed him. But then he pecked me in the eye and I had to let him go. So. Hello, Corey. To set up 210-gallon indoor goldfish ponds. That already sounds awesome. Hoping to set up a breeding program, but I'm currently looking to purchase a few goldfish to breed. Where should I get them from? One of the best sources is probably Dandy Arandas here in the U.S. That's probably the only place I can really recommend off the top of my head. Otherwise, finding some good local fish stores that are importing some stuff would be another one. Let's see here. What plant would be the best to provide oxygen for the fish with no filter pond? None really, because all plants utilize oxygen at night and give off CO2. So it only helps during the day, which can help because if it's getting hot, that can help a little bit. But usually algae is one of the best, honestly. After the live stream, someone needs to go through this and count how many different eye stories Corey has made up. Do that, and then also put the timestamp, and then I'll pin your comment to the top so everyone can hear all the crazy stories. And then everyone will know who you are. I feel like I'm getting trolled. I just got here. Are you okay? And what's up with the eye? What do I feed what do I feed fish? I have 2 tetras, an angel, and a basic goldfish. I would feed like frozen brine shrimp and stuff like that. My eye will be okay. Luckily, we were just driving around and I went to go to Jack in the Box and I was getting some tacos, right? You know, pretty likely thing. But I was looking over at my phone because it was blowing up because I was getting messages, right? And I wanted to stay on top. But I turned back and the guy has got like the bag of tacos holding it in his fist like this, right? And so I turned back and just hit the eye right there. And then, of course, he's like, oh my God, are you okay? And blah, blah. And so I'm like, no, I'll be okay. And then I drive off a little bit, like crying. And then I went to the doctor and they said, like, oh, it's going to be okay. You know, just ice it a little bit and you'll be okay. So luckily, yeah, little time's all I need. Oh, it's past 7. Okay, phew. Done for the night. So let's recap here. I need you guys to go, right after this, go and like Sergeant Tanks. Give him a subscribe. We'll get him to 1,000. I can super chat him. One of you guys, I'm going to have him pull one at random, is going to win the whole kit and caboodle package we're sending out. I'll send it out free of charge. That'll happen. The promos we got going on, type in the code EasyGreen on the website. Save on our Easy Green, Easy Carbon, Easy Iron. 20% off automatically on all the pond products. And we'll think of something else to talk about next Sunday. And I think that's it. My wife wants to go out to dinner, and I'm inclined to do so because I'm hungry. And yeah, we've got koi videos coming out this week. I think that next Saturday is about the 800-gallon. What else is coming out? An unboxing. There's that happening, but not the normal unboxing. Species profile. I think we got that queued up, I hope. And who knows what else is going on, but big things coming. And thanks for all the super chats. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Just got to find that button. Where is it? Help. I need a button. I seriously can't find the button. Oh, wait, it's right here. Phew. Oh, I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Hold on. Nope, everyone did their job. They did $5 or more, so it went to the top. Perfect. Thank you very much. And everyone go subscribe to Sergeant Tank. I promise it'll be worth your time. It'll make me super happy. It'll make him super happy. One click of the button, you make at least 2 people super happy. I think that's a good thing, and I endorse it. So 1 click, 2 happy people. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next weekend. Enjoy the sun if you got it. I know I'm too hot, but I'm going to go find somewhere with AC to serve me up some tacos.